Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Market Intel 101. I'm Frank Krebs, Senior Government Contracting Specialist at FedBiz Access. And today, we're going to discuss our Market Intel database and how finding contracting officers' demographic information can benefit your company's marketing effort. So why is finding contracting officers' information important? Well, it's important because you need to perform outreach. You need to get in front of these contracting officers, and you need to make sure they understand and know who you are and what you do. As we all know, you must get involved early in the contracting process. So before any solicitation is issued or announced, you need to make sure the contracting officer has information about your company and trust what you will say and what you will do on their behalf. Why? Well, you cannot talk to a contracting officer once a solicitation has been formally announced. Once they complete their market research, they cannot talk to vendors about that opportunity. They are expressly forbidden from doing so. So you must reach out early before an opportunity is announced if you want to talk with them, if you want to try to influence the outcome of that solicitation. And when I say outcome, I mean the way in which that solicitation is going to be presented, how it's going to be priced, and how the bids are going to be evaluated. You have that opportunity before they complete market research. However, once that's done, you no longer have that, as you cannot talk with them. So let's discuss how you find contracting officers and the information associated with those officers. First, you're going to go under the research section of the Market Intel database, and you're going to find contracting officers. Now, once you click there, you've got a lot of choices. You can filter the information by state. When we say state, that's the state in which the contracting officer is located. You can do it by zip code. I would not recommend limiting it by zip code. State is fine. Federal agency is fine. As you see over here, every federal agency is listed. So you could restrict the searches to just those contracting officers for a particular agency. Now, the best way to go about doing a search would be to do the search either on keyword or words or on NAICS codes. All right? We're going to start off and we're going to do keywords. I'm going in and I'm going to do security, if I can spell, guard. Now, what this is going to bring up for us will be every contracting officer, primary or secondary, that has done a contract for security guard or guards in the last 5 years for the federal government. When it does display these results, you're going to get the contact information. So you're going to get their name, email address. You may have 2 folks listed in the contract information. That's because when federal agencies list a procurement on sam.gov, they list first a primary and in many cases a secondary contracting officer. So when they list 2, you're going to receive both in the contract information. All right. Here's another one, the 4th one down. You see Alex Shepard with Department of DHS Homeland Security. You also have a phone number for Alec. But there's also Robert E. Lucier. And again, you have a phone number for him. Now, in this case, they're with the Office of Procurement Operations, the Eastern Division, located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. These are all national in scope. We did not do a sort to limit these at all. So we're going to go back. We still have security guard here. I'm going to go up and filter this by state. And I'm going to use what actually isn't a state, but the District of Columbia. And I'm going to do the search. So what we're going to have here is these are folks who have done contracts and are located in Washington, D.C., or in some cases they're located outside of D.C., but did a contract for security guards for Washington, D.C. Most are going to be located in Washington, D.C., however. So the way to make this information the most useful is let's go down and look at the specifics here. Let's try this one here. Demisha Carter. Demisha's with FEMA. She's with the FEMA office, and she's with their San Francisco, California office. But at some point, she did security guard contract for Washington, D.C. So that's what you have there. And when you look under recent RFQs, it says view. So if we look out there, this person has done numerous contracts for level 2 armed security guards. The most recent one she's done has been in Hawaii, and she did those last calendar year. All right. So if we look down a little further, let's try this one, Jessica Nelson. Okay. Again with Homeland Security, and Frank Borelli. This is where both a primary and a secondary were listed. They're with Homeland Security, and they're in their Office of Procurement Operations, and they're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but again, they've done contracts in Washington, D.C. So if I view their recent acquisitions, they've done Protective Security Officer services. It doesn't say where in this overview, but the subject is Protective Security Officer services. And that was last October. We can look down at a few more of these. Let's try Federal Aviation Agency, Stephen Young. Now, he's with FAA, but we have a phone number in addition to an email for him. Also, we have Holly Guardiana, and we have a phone number for her as well. They are with the FAA. They're with their system operations contracts in Washington, D.C. And if we look over here under view, again, they've done contracts, market surveys for security officers in different parts of the country. All right. So all of these are doing security guard operations. Now, one thing that will make it easier for you, you can export this information to Excel. That will allow you to sort it differently. That will allow you to be able to go out and group any like items. It will also let you sort out those with phone numbers versus those without. So if you're going to reach out to these folks and try to contact them by phone, you want the ones that have phone numbers associated. Keep in mind, this information is all pulled from sam.gov, from the procurement process that federal agencies go through. Now, when they go through that, they list up to 2 contracting officers and contact information. However, they do not always list a phone number. Again, why is that? Well, they don't want vendors or prospective vendors contacting these buyers, officers, by phone. They want it done via email. That way there's a hard copy record of everything being done on that contract. No one would be able to challenge and say somebody was told something that they were not. Okay? If it's all done either electronically or in paper, there is a trail and there is a record that can be maintained, and in most cases is. All right? So that's how you can go through doing this. Let's go back. Let's try something different. We're not going to do that. We're going to limit these security guards to, let's do Department of Defense. Let's do Navy. All right. So if we go in here, it cleared out on me. If I do Department of Defense, Office of Navy, and I do security guard, when I go in here, I've got now a list of 8 sets of contract officers or contract officers. So when I look at this, again, remember, I did not sort this or restrict it or limit it by state. This is all states. So if you notice, there where Navy officers are going to be located. Florida, North Carolina, California, Virginia, DC. All right, so if I look here, I can pick one. Let's pick the one in Norfolk, Virginia. So in Norfolk, Virginia, there's Susan Roberts. We have her email address. We also have her telephone number. So if we look, her recent RFQs have all been regarding regional armed guard services. And they've been more recent than some of the others. She has done contracts as recently as February of this year. So if we go back, that would be a good one to reach out to. So remember, this is how you're going to identify contracting officers. You can filter it up here. You can do it by keywords, or I can do it by any type of NAICS code as well. I just put in 541611. I'm going to get a lot of information. So again, I can look here. I can see what they've done. All right. If I look here under Brook Steel, for example, they've done contracts for furniture moving, terminal blocks, again, furniture moving and installation. So they've done different types of contracts. Remember, this time I went out under a different code. All right, so just know when you're going out, do your research ahead of time. Go back. You can do it under NAICS code. You know, at some point, if you want, you can put it under all agencies. And if you know of a contracting officer's name, you can always type that in. All right. So for example, I just typed in Smith. Here are all the contracting officers in the federal government who've awarded contracts in the last 5 years with the last name of Smith. There are literally hundreds. Okay. But I could export it to Excel. So again, if you need to or want to reach out to contracting officers for any reason, this is how you find the information using our market intel system. Well, that's it for today, folks. Again, I'm Frank Krebs with FedBiz Access, and this was another edition of Market Intel 101. Have a great day, everyone, and good luck with your government contracting efforts.